Alrighty, so welcome to my video, and today we're gonna be reacting to his story. He's a popular YouTube YouTube content creator. So his name is His Story. He has up to 2.5 million subs. That's crazy. And more about his story is that his description: addicting story. Every single day. Subscribe if you are a real one, and friendly reminder. Yeah, and he's also on Discord. He's on BACons, Spotify. He's also on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. He just joined January 3rd, 2022. That's crazy. And he has up to 5.2 million subscribers. That's crazy. Okay, so we're gonna be reacting to one of his stories, because as you can see, I'm already subscribed to him, so you guys should go ahead and subscribe to his story. See what he said: for a chance to win a free iPhone 17 Pro Max and 1 million subs. So yeah, so we're gonna be reacting to one of his stories, and let's check on his videos. We're gonna go on his videos. Yeah, as you can see, I've watched most of his videos, but let's try his shorts first, so it won't take time in watching them. Alright, this one got 2.2 million views. That's crazy. Alright.
While on the train, the toddler sitting next to me started screaming and throwing his fists in the air, but his mom was glued to her phone and ignored him completely. Another passenger told her to control her kid, but she replied, "I know how to handle my own child," without even looking up from her phone. Her toddler punched the windows and cried louder, and that's when she leaned over and snatched my phone from my hands. She gave it to her kid and told me, "2 minutes, he's having a meltdown." The kid stopped screaming and instead started smearing his chocolate fingers all over my phone screen. The mom smiled at the passenger from earlier and smirked, saying, "See, told you I know how to control my child." But her child—
Wait, what? Did this woman just steal a stranger's phone just to control her baby? That's crazy.
Was jabbing my phone with his Cheeto dust fingers and trying to bend it in half while she just peacefully scrolled hers. I reached over and yanked my phone back from her kid, then moved further away from her. The toddler instantly screamed again and hit his seat repeatedly. She demanded I give him my phone back, but I just laughed. That's when her kid turned to her and reached for her phone instead. She tried to give him snacks and toys to distract him, but he threw them on the floor and hit her shoulder, screaming he wants her phone. Her face went red and she reluctantly gave it over, and he immediately started smearing chocolate and Cheeto dust all over her screen and into her charging port. He was calm for about a minute until the phone suddenly died. He threw it at the floor hard as he could, and it smashed into pieces. He screamed again and grabbed his mom's jacket, and I just put in my earbuds. The other passenger looked at her and said, "So, you sure you know how to control your child?" She stared at her broken phone and her child screaming around her and just started crying. While on the train, the toddler sitting next to me—
Oh wow. This woman and her kid has some serious issues, man. Yo, let me check the comments, man. Kid is going to grow up to be a bruh. What the hell, man? Okay, bro is being toxic. Alright.
I was jumping on my trampoline when the old man next door sprayed me in the face with his hose. I lost my balance and missed the trampoline completely when I came down. "Mr. Crane, why would you do that? I could have been really hurt. Don't talk back to me, boy. I don't want to see you bouncing on that thing again, or I'll evict your family by the end of the week." He meant it. Mr. Crane was our landlord. He lived in the unit next door to us. We only ever saw him when he came to dig in his garden or when he came to collect rent. The trampoline was my favorite thing in the backyard, so I decided to wait it out and come back when the coast was clear. A few hours later, I was jumping again. Every time I bounced, I could see into Mr. Crane's backyard. He was gardening again, but instead of planting flowers, I saw that he was burying a human hand. I bounced—
Wait, so no way this guy is actually burying a human. That's crazy.
laughed again. This time, when I looked over the fence, Mr. Crane was staring directly at me. "I told you I didn't want you jumping on that damn thing anymore. Now you'll pay." He ran full speed and hopped the fence into my backyard. I used my jump to get as close to my back door as possible and ran into the house. He followed me up the stairs into my room and stood in the doorway swinging his shovel at me. I was trapped. I looked out the window into the backyard. Below me was the trampoline. I dove out and aimed for it. I hit the target perfectly and bounced onto the ground. Mr. Crane jumped after me, but
Yo, bro was a madman.
I was able to grab our garden hose and spray him in the face the same way he did to me. He came down just as hard as I did earlier. When he landed, he dropped his shovel. I knocked him out and called the police. They searched his home and found the remains of the family who lived in our unit before us. My favorite pastime may have saved my life. I was
Yo, that's crazy. Yo, let me see the comments. Landlord serial killer, that's crazy. Old man got some anger issues. Alright. Let's go to the next one.
Did you know if you go to this website, you'll never design another website the same again? Watch this.
For years, kids at school made fun of me for not knowing what a Fortnite dub was, until one day, that finally changed. My parents banned all technology since I was born, so every day my mom ran a metal detector over me at the door. "You know the rules," she'd say. "Screens rot your brain. No technology until you're 18. I nodded, holding back tears, because I had no friends, no life. But that day,
Fun fact, technology doesn't actually rot your brain. Unless if you use it the
my
wrong
uncle
way.
was waiting on the couch. He pulled me aside, slipped an iPad into my hands and whispered, "Trust me, you'll thank me later." I had no idea what he meant, but I snuck it into my room with shaking hands, praying my parents wouldn't find out. That night, I was so excited I hid under my blanket and downloaded Fortnite. And for the first time ever, I was playing with the kids who made fun of me. I was the first person to die, but I laughed anyway, finally feeling normal. Then footsteps pounded down the hall. I heard laughing. "What are you doing in there?" my mom screamed. I shoved the iPad under my mattress just as they burst through the door. My dad tore through my drawers while my mom flipped my backpack upside down, and I stopped breathing every time they got close. She crossed her arms. "Get up, we're checking your bed." My whole body shook as she checked under the bed, but she missed it. For 1 second, I thought I was safe. Then my dad lifted the mattress, and the iPad slid onto the floor. "An iPad? Who gave this to you?" my mom shrieked. "My uncle," I whispered. "That's it. No technology until you're 30. Then my dad grabbed his keys. "And we're going to your uncle's right now." At my uncle's door, my parents exploded. "You gave him poison behind our backs and ruined everything."
Yo, no way, these parents just called an iPad poison. That's crazy.
Mom screamed, shoving the iPad at his chest. "Now he's banned until he's 30. I stood behind them, head down, tears dripping off my chin, too defeated to speak. But my uncle didn't take the iPad. He pointed at me. "Your son has no friends. He's bullied every day because of your stupid rule." I looked up, wiping my tears. I gave him that iPad because I was him once, and I swore I'd never let it happen to another kid. He's staying here every weekend so he can be a kid, starting today. My parents opened their mouths, but nothing came out, knowing my uncle was right. He grabbed me and shut the door on them. "Told you you'd thank me later." I smiled and bolted to his PS5. "Now teach me how to win dubs on Fortnite." For years, kids at school...
Oh, that's a W uncle, guys. Everybody spamming in the chat W uncle. Yeah, I'm gonna spam W uncle. So, comments here said, I heard laughing. What are you doing? What are you doing there? Bro, let the kid have fun. Like, bro, just let the kid have fun. Not every generation can be like the old ones.
I put my hand over my little brother's mouth to keep him quiet. We were awoken in the middle of the night by the flash of emergency flares and the sounds of footsteps outside of our tent. We had no idea what was happening. The zipper at the front of the tent began to fall, and my brother screamed hard against my hand, but I was able to muffle it. When the flap opened, the full beam of a flashlight blinded us both. When our vision returned, we recognized the figures holding them almost immediately. It was our parents. "Get up." Their tone was pure panic. "There's no time to explain, we have to go now." I removed my hand from my brother's mouth and helped him up. Just then, we heard a noise that couldn't have been human. It sounded savage and primal, and worst of all, it sounded like it was 10 feet away and closing. We came out of our tent to see a 10-foot grizzly bear standing across the campfire from us. It was foaming at the mouth and moving unpredictably. Great, it's rabid too. The rabid bear charged forward straight through the campfire, sending pieces of burning wood flying, and pinned my little brother to the ground. "Oh Jesus God, Caleb," my mother cried. "Son, look up." My dad pointed into the air just above the bear. Our family family's camping supply crate hung suspended over a tree branch. This tactic was supposed to keep bears away, but it sure got this one's attention. Hurry! Do something! My brother was using all of his strength to keep the bear's jaws from touching him. The crate was staked to the ground about 5 feet from where I lay. I knew I wouldn't make it.
Bro, shouldn't the dad be the dad of the family? Why is it the boy that's saving the family?
To the rope in time myself, so I pulled out my pocket knife, opened the blade, and made the throw of my life. The blade grazed the side of the rope. It was tattered, but not broken. The bear's jaws were lowering on my brother's head. Without another thought, I grabbed a piece of burning wood the bear had scattered and hurled it at the weakened rope. A spark landed exactly on the last strand, and the whole thing snapped with the sound of a bullwhip. The heavy supply crate dropped straight down onto the bear's head and shattered into splinters. The bear was knocked out. Together we pushed the unconscious bear off of my brother. Then a searchlight lit us up, accompanied by the sound of a helicopter. A voice over a loudspeaker said, "Parks Department Rescue Division, we saw your flare. I'm dropping a ladder now, you folks."
How come the rescue team comes when the whole thing is over? Like, why didn't they come when it started? Why is it now the whole thing is over that they're coming to rescue?
We'll be all right. We were flown to the nearest hospital, and we would never return to that campsite again.
Yo, fun fact, you guys should always be careful when going to camps, because you don't know when the bears can come. Yo, this guy said, bro survived world wars at this point. That's crazy. Okay.
I was in the house when I heard my son scream at the top of his lungs, and when I ran outside, his hands were clawing at his throat. I dropped to my knees beside him. "Buddy, what's wrong?" But he couldn't get a word out, his lips starting to swell. Then I saw the smear of purple on his hands, and the bush behind him, covered in berries that had never been in my yard before. My heart was pounding, because I'd just won full custody, and now he was choking in my arms. I called 911 and told them everything. When I looked back, my son's throat was closing, his face going blue. Then I saw her, my ex-wife, who lost custody at the edge of the yard, police cars already pulling up behind her. She pointed at me and shrieked, "Those berries are poisonous! He keeps them in his yard! He's trying to kill our son!" She was trying to frame me as the bad guy, but my son was dying, so I turned him over and pounded his back to force the berries out. "Look, he's hurting him! Somebody stop him!" she screamed. A few purple berries flew from his mouth, but he still couldn't breathe. Then I remembered I kept an EpiPen inside, so I sprinted in, grabbed it, and slammed it into his thigh. He gasped, air finally filling his lungs, but before I could even hold him, the officer—
Yo, what's that weapon he was holding? He called it an EpiPen. I've never seen that one before.
officers threw me to the ground and cuffed me. My ex scooped up our son, sobbing, "It's okay, my son. Mommy's got you now. Daddy's dangerous." I just won full custody, and now I was losing him over her lie. The cops dragged me toward the police car as my son coughed on the grass, the EpiPen finally working. "I love my son. Please, I didn't do this," I begged, but no one listened. Then a small voice croaked out, "Wait, Daddy didn't do it." Everyone froze and looked at him. My son pointed a shaking finger at his mother. "My mommy gave me the berries. She put it in his bush and said they were candy." My fists clenched. "You gave him berries he was allergic to. Are you insane?" The officers turned to my ex, whose face went white. "Ma'am, did you know he was allergic?" She stammered. I didn't know he had allergies. That was all it took." The cops let go of me and moved toward her, and as
Yeah, they should arrest this is ex-wife.
they turned her around to cuff her, a handful of purple berries tumbled out
Yo, look at the evidence, guys. She's a
from
liar.
her sleeve. I pulled my son into my arms. "This is exactly why you lost custody. I was in..."
Wow. Yo, look at what the comments are saying. The wife forgot the son was a witness. That kick was diabolical. He's trying to kill our son. I thought she was our ex. Look, he's hurting me. I think the cops are dumb too. Bro, are these officers genuinely stupid? My guy has everything right to start his villain arc.
I told my mom, "Can I please have no mayo on my sandwich?" But when she slid the plate across the table, the bread had mayo smeared all over it. I pushed it back, but she instantly got in my face. "Stop being so spoiled and entitled. Eat what you're given." Later that night, Dad ordered pizza, but it had anchovies even when I asked for none. And when I picked every anchovy off, my parents glared at me with their fists shaking in anger. The next morning, Mom made eggs with olives, knowing I hated olives. And when I refused to eat them, Dad slammed his fork on the table. "That's it. You're gonna learn to like what you're given one way or another." Dad marched me up to my room, and Mom came in holding a jar of mayo, a tin of anchovies, and a jar of olives. I laughed. "You really think I'll be eating that?" But then Dad wrapped a padlock around my door handle. "You need 3 keys to unlock this padlock. There's 1 key at the bottom of each jar. You're not leaving your room until you eat everything in front of you and get those keys." He placed a chain on the latch and slammed the door, locking it from the outside. I stared at the
Yo, why are they forcing this kid to just eat?
spoon and 3 of the worst things I'd ever smelled, and my hands shook as I couldn't understand why my parents couldn't just accept I didn't like certain foods. 2 hours in, I was banging on the door, screaming to be let out, but Dad just yelled, "Not until you eat everything." I gulped and sat down, but as soon as I ate a spoonful of mayo, my stomach turned. I gagged into my sleeve, knowing I'd never get out, but then I noticed my old gym bag under the bed and got a crazy idea. I grinned and dumped the pound of mayo into my bag. "Just wait till they see this." Then I did the same with the anchovies and the olives. The smell made me nearly sick as anchovy oil trickled through my bag, but I fished the 3 keys out from the bottom of each jar and unlocked my door. I was free, but I wasn't done. I left the anchovy mayo bag sitting on my parents' bed and calmly walked downstairs. My mom instantly grinned. "See? That wasn't so bad. No more picky eating." But I grinned back at her. I didn't eat it. I threw it all out. Dad stood up so fast his chair scraped. "You what? Where did it go?" I laughed. "I put it in a bag, but don't worry. Since you two love mayo and anchovies and olives so much, I left the whole bag in your room so you could eat it." Their faces went purple and they bolted up the stairs. Mom never gave me mayo again. I told my
Wait. I really don't get it. I will just scoop it all. Yeah, same. That's what I'll do, man. I'm not gonna lie.
What will happen when GTA 6 finally drops?
I went for a jump shot during recess, and the new kid Caleb punched me in the face while I was in the air. I fell on the ground hard and hit my head, but he simply grabbed the ball, no blood, no foul, then ran down the other end and scored. I got up clutching my head, but next time I grabbed the ball, he shoulder tackled me like this was football. "Where I'm from, this is soft." He stood over me. I looked around and saw everyone scared of him because he was buff and had at least 5 inches on everyone. The next day during recess, Caleb tripped the smallest kid on the court. I clenched my fists, but knew there was nothing I could do. My friends cleared out, no longer wanting to play with him, and that's when Caleb's eyes locked onto me. "Me and you, one-on-one." He threw the ball at my chest. The first play, Caleb pushed me into a metal pole and my nose started bleeding. But the next time I got the ball, I threw up a shot. He shoved me to the floor, but the ball was already in the air. It swished and everyone cheered. I grinned from the floor. "And one bitch." But suddenly Caleb clenched his teeth. My heart sank as he raised his shoe, and he stomped on my arm hard before I could move it. I screamed in pain as it was bent the wrong way, while Caleb laughed. "Where's your N1 now?" I spent a week in the hospital with a broken arm, and when I came back with my arm in a cast, Caleb had again forced everyone to play. I watched him tackle another kid and had enough.
Yo, Loki, this Caleb is rough.
I stepped onto the court. Caleb smirked. "You want your other arm broken? Remember, no blood, no foul." But I just nodded because I had a plan. The first time Caleb caught the ball and drove to the rim, I waited until he was in the air. Then I instantly got under him and bent over. Caleb's eyes widened in horror as he realized what I was doing, and his knees hit my hip, sending him flying over me. He landed
Oosh, that's gonna be a bad landing.
landed face first on the concrete he'd shoved me and started groaning in pain. 3 of his teeth were scattered
Damn.
around him as red pooled under his face. I knelt down. "No blood, no foul, Caleb." He came back to school 4 weeks later, but when I took a shot, he tried to defend normally. We still let him play, but he never tried to injure anyone again. I went for a jump shot.
Yeah, that taught him a lesson.
I was standing next to my brother Otto at his wedding when he stepped up to the mic, unfolded a piece of paper, and started reading the vows I wrote for my fiancée. I had left that paper on the kitchen counter at my parents' house 2 weeks ago. Otto had been doing this my whole life. Every dream I ever had out loud became his next achievement. At the reception, I told my fiancée Julie those were my vows, and she was quiet for a long time. He just took them like they meant nothing. We postponed our wedding that night, but by the time we got home, I knew exactly what I was going to do. I called a friend in in real estate about a house that looked perfect from the outside and was falling apart on the inside. Flooded basement, black mold, cracks running through the whole foundation.
Bro, what type of house is
foundation.
this?
I started bringing it up at every family dinner for 3 weeks straight. Julie stopped coming to family dinners after the vow thing, so I sat at the table alone and thought about her sitting alone at home, and it made the performance very easy. One night, I put my head in my hands. I had to let it go. I just could not save enough in time. I pushed a fake mortgage document across the table and shook my head. I just hope nobody buys it before I can. Otto was already on his phone. 2 days later, my real estate friend called me. Otto scheduled an inspection on the house. I sat down on the kitchen floor and stared at the wall because I thought it was all over. Then my friend called back a few hours later. He canceled it so he could close faster. I exhaled for the first time all day. 2 days later, Otto texted me a photo of the house keys. Looks like it was meant for me. You'll find something cheaper, I texted back. Congrats, hope it treats you well. He sent a laughing emoji. I put my phone down and went to tell Julie it was done. The first heavy rain of the season flooded his basement to the ceiling. Then cracks spread across the walls. Otto called me in tears. The house is going to collapse if I don't find $20,000 for repairs. A few weeks later, I walked into my parents' house for dinner, and Otto was already at the kitchen table with red eyes. My wife left me. I sat down. Why? She said buying the house was stupid. 2 months later, Otto was sleeping in our parents' basement because he couldn't afford the repairs, and Julie and I finally got married. I wrote even better vows, and she had never heard any of them before. Her face when I started the first line was worth every dinner I had sat through alone. I was
Okay. Well, oh guys, make sure you guys go subscribe to his channel and turn on all notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video.